What is up, everybody? And you know it's Monday, and you know what that means. Well, maybe you don't know because this is new. This is the new call to action show that you've been waiting for. You know, sometimes we like to chill out a call to action. Sometimes we like to be smooth, and then sometimes we like to turn it up to 11. And this is the show for that. My name is the Belford. I am your host, your glorious host of this journey that we are on for Turn It Up to 11. But I'm not alone. I'm joined by my ride or die, my pit buddy, my number one, POD. What's up?
Oh, Billy, man, I am so pumped. You just pumped me up with that intro. That David B music just pumped me up. Holy shit, I'm ready to go. I'm on to rock out all the time. I'm on chill out of time. I'm ready to rock out now. This is a different kind of show. We're going to take this thing and just turn it up to 11.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh, man, and we are so excited to bring this to you all. Every 2 weeks, this is going to be a bi-weekly show, just so you all know, just to get a little admin out of the way. It's not going to be every week. It's going to be every other week, opposite of chill. So, you know, take a week and chill and relax. And then, you know, every other week, turn that shit up to 11. And tonight, Paul, we, for our first ever episode, we decided, if we're going to do it, we might as well do it the most difficult episode ever. We're doing that's right. Go big or go home. The 11 greatest moments in Schmoedown history. We're going to piss some people off because your moment is not on the list.
God, First of all, let me point this out, by the way, right there. No, William, you're not wrong at all because I heard it in my ear too as well. I heard Mike doing that whole thing. Actually, I heard the whole flash thing at this point.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, we're also going to piss people off because maybe you thought your moment was going to be number one, and it's like number honorable mention. I don't know. So
we listed, Billy. We listed about 40 to 50 moments that were potentially in our list. There's some that are not even in our honorable mentions. And I'm like, I can't believe they're not honorable mentions here for us.
Oh,
I want to say it's funny is that a lot of people are expecting this is an action channel. A lot of people are expecting the Action Army number ones to be everything else. I don't think we actually did a good, solid job of being unbiased in a way. We threw something there that you might not expect. And there's some things that like are going to be omissions, like not even on our honorable mentions. You know what's not on our honorable mentions, which I was surprised at? Ben Bateman and Kevin Smith winning the title of Spectacular, following it up outside, being like, Action Army. That's technically like not even on our top 10 list. How the hell is that possible? I don't even know. But there's a lot of things like that. We're kind of like, what the fuck happened to us? Yet here we are.
This is the thing. There's a lot of things in the Schmoedown that make it great. And that's why this list is so difficult. Because if it was just trivia, we could just pick the 11 greatest trivia matches or whatever. The 11 times somebody won a title. No, because there's promos. There's, celebrations. There's surprises. There's shocks. And then there is those great trivia moments that define the Schmoedown. We got a little bit of everything. We got a whole lot of awesome. And without further ado, I think maybe we should get into those moments that were awesome and were great, just not quite great enough.
Not quite enough to hit our list. We have the honorable mentions. Without further ado, let's just play those honorable mentions. Here we go.
Swear to God, I do not believe what just happened here.
The Blue Fairy.
That.
Christian.
It's not true.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I don't know how this can How does this not make it?
How does this not make the list?
Are check
What a
out the
great
action
swerve.
Drew,
You might get
Oh,
out of the action art for that one.
Oh my god, this moment made me fall in love with the Schmodown. This is like my Schmodown love story.
Right?
This is my meet-
I love you, Danny, but I ain't no fourth rounder.
Fourth round Roka.
Fourth round Roka.
Oh my goodness! Look at
Being there when Janine the Machine is led into York with the Rocky style. Come on.
Amazing entrance in the sold out Brooklyn. Same show as the Janine entrance here. Dan Merle
Dan Merle.
turning to the top of the mountain. We almost
Okay.
got unsubscribed because we didn't put Action Army in there.
Hey.
ovation for the match.
Just like it all you want. It helps the actor.
She can't hold it up. She's trying. It's a heavy belt.
Trust us, guys. We hate ourselves. Oh, this moment
Yeah.
here, we love it. We love it.
Oh, I love that moment. We definitely loved that moment for sure.
That was. Oh, my girl is the queen. Let her speak.
Say it with me. Wild. Wild. Elliot Dewberry.
Ooh, yeah. Cut to the core.
Shannon's coming out. Shannon's been. Oh, Mike. She's been through thick and
Wow.
thin. Dip.
I am Finstock.
No, that's Morgan Draco. Bolt action.
Oh, there you go.
What's this? Oh, what a great moment.
Great moment. It's a great moment.
Do it.
Oh my gosh. Holy shit. Oh man,
Wow.
I'm already canceling myself because some of the moments that we left off the list. Can we review the list? All right, guys, we're gonna stop right now. We're gonna go back and review the list again.
God, that blue fairy guy's free for all entrance. Oh my! How could that not make our list? I love that moment. It was a great swerve, one of the greatest swerves in the history of the Schmodown. I'll be watching the reactions videos to that, like to the part like that when they're all at the bar watching, they're all ready for Merle, they're all psyched up for Merle. The guy came out, and they didn't know what hit him. It was brilliant.
It's so good because Late to the Party was at that free for all, so they knew what was happening. So they had to, they knew to film the reaction. It was like the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones. Like they knew to film. This is going to be good. And oh my gosh, Dan winning the title after that was like his redemption moment after another moment that happened that might appear later in the list.
Maybe.
But don't worry, guys. I know that those honorable mentions were amazing, and you probably think they should have all been on the list. We have 11 moments that we think are a little bit greater. And I don't know about you, Paul, but I think there you go. Brandon Buckingham was at the party. All right. That was like a who's who was at that party. Chance Ellison was at that party before he was the Cobra.
Right.
So yeah.
I do want to say one thing real quick. I want to say, can we cut in there real quick? Giuliano mentioned we had the Blue Fairy incident. You're going to find that there are not many of the earlier days of the Schmodown in here. And I think the reason why we both talked about this, why that happened, the truth is it felt like such a different Schmodown back then. It's like in baseball, you have like the modern era versus the old school era in a way. Like it seemed like when they went to Collider, a little bit after Collider, that's when it started becoming like more closer to the Schmodown that we know, more produced, more about a show, more of an event, rather than back in the day, a bunch of friends getting together on the couch and doing some trivia. That was a different era in a way.
Yeah, I'll spoiler alert, but there is an omission of like Riley winning the first title, like that beating Makuga. It's not on the list because we feel greater championship moments. So it's like you can't really put that in there when there's other greater moments. But we know we realize, guys, that maybe that's especially if you're a longtime Schmodown fan, like if you're one of the OGs, a Schmovillian, you might want some of those moments because of the nostalgia. It's not there for me, especially, and maybe to Paul as well. And just the production value is so much better. Season 3 going on, and it's the real Schmodown.
I would say it's for Riley. Like for the Riley incident, that probably does make my top 20. Absolutely, I love that moment. It's a great moment. But it just didn't quite make it compared to some of the other ones that we have on the list. We have a lot of different moments. I'm very excited about to count them down and go from, of course, 11 of them. We have a top 11 moments in this Schmodown history, which is why it's, of course, turned up to 11.
Well, 11's better than 10. But without further ado, maybe we should get into these 11 moments, Paul.
Yeah,
with the number 11, a little, and here we go. Oh man, infamous moment. What a cannot believe that Bateman betraying everyone.
Bateman betraying the Army at this point. Ben Bateman
Yeah, throw your
betrays the Army.
jacket.
Oh, those losses.
Worst.
Here we are, Drew Guy.
He's
Ready
the one to destroy Team Action. It's cool.
I thought I was gonna win.
Right? Andrew Guy right here is
so
is
much.
excited to bring Ben back in the fold. Fine, Anarchy is done at this point. They did their thing.
It was great.
We're gonna
You
reunite
run,
Team
I had
Action.
my singles run. Look, yo,
See?
2019.
It's like you let Ben go sow his wild oats with Riley and have his little dalliance.
Come back.
They didn't win a title, so come back where you belong. Come back.
Team
We're
Action
gonna
is
to
gonna
a
go
different
wild.
Dude, I love Team Action.
Like we
Every
always
time
thought,
I
we
say
got
it,
the Action Army behind us.
We were just 4-0.
He's better than me for you.
No,
he is.
just-
I mean,
no, he is.
and
He balances
Ben
out
right
better.
Ben
there.
wearing a shirt that's clearly not.
I
It's like
said
two
young
sizes too small for him as always.
2 or 3.
Not
Two or three.
You know,
I know,
good
I
old
know. Look,
big time Ben
it's fine.
Bateman.
Riley balances out better. I think
Big time Ben
I had a
Bateman.
different
That's
team.
right.
I still
I
can't
know,
believe
I was
it.
doing
We
shit
didn't
during
catch
the
it in the
tournament.
honorable
I found
mentions. That was
someone, I think.
Ben's
I feel like you're not gonna.
first
I'm not
original
gonna-
Slowdown
Names.
nickname was Big Time Ben Bateman.
Okay.
A real fact.
Travesty.
You, me, Riley, and
And guys in the chat, let us know if you can't hear us over the video. It's kind of weird. This is our first time doing these things this way.
Don't worry about it. I love
So
you.
let us know.
Good job.
Me
Good job.
too,
I'm
man.
proud of you. Next year, all right?
Nabu is
All
correct. He was his brother. That is correct.
Yes, he was. Yep. And there it is!
The great,
Who's the boss
the great
He
rock
is.
cut out in the background.
You see how the table is trying to jump out? Drew was trying to save him from the table, but
I'm gonna get Mark Riley.
That's right. You see it. It's 5-1-8 right there. The evidence. The Rock agrees. Dwayne agrees.
You are. You congratulated him after the match. What is this?
Oh, and my favorite of this whole moment
You know what?
is the very end with
glad you
Gucci.
win, Bucks. You don't
Because
fucking
Gucci makes everything better. Obviously.
Of course.
Because
Oh, my
Absolutely.
gosh.
You know what? Without me,
Oh,
you're nothing.
yep. It broke our heart a little bit, Ben. You broke our heart. It made us
Right.
happy.
Fuck out of here. Get out of here, you piece of shit.
Woo! That was a
Shit.
swear. You can swear in the throwdown, right?
Bricks. You okay?
Wait, you can't swear in the show?
Nowadays, now we can't. No. We can't, but they can. Gucci is doing it. Gucci the
Do
nurse.
you know where my mask is?
That's true. That's true. Monty, you're right. No, that was a solid hit. I think Andrew Guy definitely played high school football, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Wow,
What
what
do
can
we
we ask?
Top 11 here. Bateman,
Right? I mean,
Ring.
that led us to the great moments, the great moment of the Army arriving in Houston. That was the Action Army. That's something we couldn't put on our top 10 because Houston, that was an off screen. Only videos to clip it. We can't say that's an off screen showdown moment. The fact that what happened in Houston, but this was the lead to that. This was the start of that, the Civil War, right?
Yeah, this doesn't happen. It's funny because the seeds were sown for this moment. Basically, when Guy tackles Rocco, which kind of bookends the two.
Right.
And that was kind of like another moment that was definitely in the running was Guy tackling Rocco. But Guy tackling Rocco really didn't matter as much in the long run. Guy tackling Bateman breaks the Action Army's heart. Leads to Houston, still the best live event in the history of the Schmodown. I don't care about Chicago and the 1,000 people that were there. Booker T in a wrestling ring trumps all that. You Star Wars nerds.
Which I am.
And
That's
then
okay.
we had to put it in this list because we wouldn't have this show without that moment.
Yeah.
Because me and Paul wouldn't be friends if
Sure.
the Action Army, the Action Army doesn't break up, or Team Action doesn't break up, I should say, not
Right.
the Action Army. We don't. Action Army never breaks up. We all hate
They're
Bateman.
actually- Yeah, hopefully Bateman's going to start turning around. That's my hope. He's starting to turn and come back to us slowly but surely. He's got a long road to travel, but I'm getting excited. I had that warm excitement in that maybe someday he's going to return to the Army full on.
That evil cackle returned. So we all
The
look forward to
sunglasses
that.
were there. He cut Riley to the quick. It felt like old times. So All right, of course, we're still holding out for Drew's return, of course, but we'll have to find out. And yeah, sometimes
Yeah, we're still
sometimes.
waiting for we're associates.
It's a good way to put it.
But
Good way to put it.
yeah, we're waiting for
Fellow
that
soldiers.
hit and Team Action. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right.
But all right, so
Shall we
that's number 11. So let's move on to number 10. Here we go.
In Ant-Man, who plays Maggie Lang, the mother of Scott Lang's daughter?
Going a little old school here.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Michelle Monaghan.
and your
There it is. And somewhere, Matty Kearns has an erection.
This is definitely for Matty Kearns, 100%. Also, this is back in the day when we would love to see Roca lose, so of course it's going to make the top 10. Or top 11.
That's right. I love the idea that right there, Riley goes over and hugs Clark Wolf. You know, it's that kind of like they're together at that point. Wolves of Steel.
Well, this is before Wolves of Steel. So.
Right, exactly. So it's like them getting
He's
together.
the champion.
It's really an iconic moment for Riley. Like, it's funny because, like, we mentioned it before that Riley, he obviously won the first belt in the end of the 2014 thing, but this felt like even more real to me.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's in the studio. He's beating Roca, who Roca wasn't even in the tournament when he won the belt the first time. So like, no knock on anybody who was in the tournament for the first season, but it definitely was not the same. Like,
this one felt more amped up, more ready to go. He lost it to Merle. He comes back when he's still ready. Yeah, there he goes. I love how that.
And then it rolls right into like, Riley wins, and it's like, oh wait, here's your gift.
Right?
You get to stand Merle. Oh my gosh. That was the biggest title win at the time, because a lot of people thought that Riley winning the title season 1 was like a fluke, because again, it's in the old studio. You're picking numbers out of a hat. You're like, the questions were not super difficult. There were weird questions about like box office and stuff. Like,
it wasn't even like that weren't difficult. It was more like the fact that they were so wildly like differing in terms. There were some that were super easy and some that were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like there was no standardized questions like you have today in a way, formatted questions rather.
Back then, like round 1 questions, I got a set of 3, then you got a completely different set of 3, and then I got another set of 3. It was so weird. Like, this was a true test of like my knowledge versus your knowledge, and a lot of people didn't think Riley could do it. Riley proved him wrong, and he's dressed as the Karate Kid. Can't go wrong with that.
One of the best theme songs in the history of movies, right there at the end there. Gotta love it. So I was very excited about that one to add to our list.
Matty Kearns probably has it number 1.
He probably is. And I'm completely okay with that for Matty Kearns. That makes sense to me completely. So
it is a perfectly acceptable number 1. If you're a Riley guy, if you are sitting in the cantina with Riley, then that might be your number 1 for sure. For us,
it's up there.
All things considered,
we love Riley.
It's up there.
I do love me some
Riley's our boy. We love Riley. I love the bow and the wave as Roca just storms off. Classic. So great. Such the quintessential face of the Schmodown, because Riley is like the face. He's the ultimate good guy of the Schmodown. Even more than like Dan Merle. Like Riley is the Schmodown's good guy, and Roca is the Schmodown's heel. And that's like that rivalry really fueled a lot of stuff, especially in those early seasons.
100%. They were like, that's the original heel and face combination there. Hey, you never know. Maybe if Riley can kick his ass back into gear and get himself going, I would love to see Riley get another belt. I mean, I love the guy, so he definitely deserves that.
Mark Riley has had several like stages in his career where he was highly motivated. There to beat Roca, he was highly motivated.
Yep.
The Anarchy tournament with Bateman, I would say he was highly motivated, and they almost won the titles twice.
Yep.
And then now I think he's highly motivated again, and a highly motivated Riley is a scary Riley.
Right. So let's find out. And you're right. You can't help but root for Riley. That's true. You can't help for it. It's hard. Even when he's facing Andrew Guy, I felt bad when Guy beat him. Not that I felt bad that he beat him, because I wanted Guy to win because I'm a guy. But he still was like, I love Riley. He's just one of the guys. You don't like to see him lose. But all right.
I did not feel bad for Dan Murrell at all. I'll just say real quick. I did not. When Dan Murrell lost to Guy, I did not feel bad at all because it's Dan Murrell. I'm like, you'll be fine. When Riley lost to Guy, I was like, oh, not Riley.
Riley. Yeah, he's like, all right.
All righty, let's move on to number 9, and here we go.
Number 9.
Their opponents, representing
Spectacular 3.
with a record of
The Who's the Boss?
no defeats and 2 knockouts, led to the ring by their manager, Emma Fife and Mark the Android and Draco. They are the undefeated, undisputed movie trivia schmodown team champions of the world, Rachel the Crusher Cushing and Classy Clark Wolf.
This is so great because, like, we just thought it was going to be the Shire Wolves coming out. Like, a good song choice for the Shire Wolves.
That's like
Jen, which
Dennis.
Jen.
Like, okay, what's going on? Jen, love Jen.
And what's this? Calling
Like, whoa, why is all this? Oh, what are they doing there? Oh, wait, they're. Oh, the ladies of the Showdown, right?
Okay.
They're like, holy shit! It's so really. Oh. Look at all of them and how awesome that was. How awesome was that? Like, obviously we had the idea that the ladies of the Showdown had like gone through some traversing difficulties, some toxic things that happened as far as making sure were they really champions who deserved it. Of course they were, and this just showed like this is such a great power moment for our community here, the females. I loved it so much. It's great. It was a really wonderful thing.
100%. Again, it's like we're getting to the point where we're at number 9 now, and already we're at like this could be number 1. Like there are people who probably think this is their number 1 moment. Like the Shire Wolves, all the ladies of the Schmodown. There were people like I didn't know who they were, but it made me want to find out who they were. Like I didn't know who Rachel Silvestrini was at that point. I kind of knew who Marquita, is that her name? Marquita, right?
Marquita.
Marquita. And then I didn't even know who Taylor was at that point, but I wanted to find out who these people were because I was like, they must be important because they're with the Shire Wolves.
Well, it had been a male-dominated sport at that point. Up until that point, with mostly men, and that was how the dialogue went. And you kind of you realize how many powerful and important women there had been in the league at that point. And you're like, wow. It's great to see them all in one place. Those are some powerful, powerful women. I'm so happy that they're involved. I'm so happy to have them there. So that definitely made it an easy top 10 moment for me. I mean, Greg, if you want to touch base here, Billy and I had our little primary mathematical thing where we all ranked them and then kind of average things out. And I could put up a whole X, O, Y minus this to cover the one. But at the end of the day, we ended up averaging some things out. We came up with this top 11. But this was definitely both well in our top 10s. And it's a definite easy choice for me.
Yeah, 100%. It's one of those things where the Schmodown had been male top heavy, but even at the beginning there were always women in the Schmodown. Like season 1, there's a lot of women. Greg Drake was teamed with Atchity in season 2. They had a run. They even had some number 1 contender matches, title matches. But there was this weird no woman's won the title, so I guess they can't do it. And then the Shire Wolves come along, smash that narrative. And then we talked about this before the show. It was actually brave of them. It was a risk to play this song, "Girls Run the World," as they come out. They're the champions, but it was a weird path to the title. I'm not saying it was an easy path to the title, but it was a weird path to the title.
People question.
They played Brienne and they played Brienne and someone we didn't know who they were to win the title. So, and this was a lot of people were expecting Who's the Boss to come in and smash them and win the titles. That didn't happen. But they played the song before the match, saying "We run the world," and then they showed "We run the world."
We run the fucking world at that point. Exactly what it was. And there was that narrative. It was a false narrative. I know part of it is because Above the Line had vacated the titles. It was that kind of thing where like they're vacating the titles and unless the Shire Wolves beat Above the Line, were they really champions? And it was kind of a dumb narrative. I think anybody, whoever the next champions after Above the Line, we're going to kind of face that a little bit. They're going to face that trouble making themselves legitimate champions, and it made it worse that it was the female champions at that point because it gave people an excuse, and it was a stupid excuse, it was a shitty excuse. But this is when they beat Team Action, and then they beat. Now in this pace, they come out there, they say, "Yeah, we're the women here, we're taking over," and they beat Who's the Boss. It's just solidifying. It was so satisfying to them, and for us as well. So it was an easy top 10 moment for us at that point. And one more quick, yes. It was kind of poor.
Oh yeah, 100%. Easy pick for top 11.
So, all right. Let's.
All right. On. Yeah, we're gonna move on to number 8, and here we go.
I'm a firm believer in trial and error, and I believe my client is on trial. It's in error.
All right. That might be the single head best line in Schmodown history.
It's 100% the best line in the history of the Schmodown. It's the funniest thing Gucci's ever said. Oh my god, what an easy pick for it. Right. I only clipped out that little section because the whole trial is fantastic. You know, JTE. Did he cheat? Did he not cheat?
Right. That's where it came about for. It was did he cheat? Did he not cheat? And the reason, Will, by the way, the reason I'll point this out, we talked about it before. The reason why it was a little lower on a list than it might be, because might be, I could see a lot of people saying that's their favorite moment in Schmodown history, and I get it. To me, it felt more like a Schmoville moment more than a Schmodown moment with the way the Schmodown is evolved in a way. It was a big sketch, big setup, and the whole setup was brilliant and beautiful. Things we've always looked back on and we'll have a great time watching it and laughing at. As far as the specific moments, though, as the Schmodown goes, it's kicked down just a smidge. Yeah, exactly. That's he said. Dean Morgan says it right there. It's just great. It's a little bit of both. So. It's still a great moment. It's still something we're going to go back to and all the time and laugh our asses off. I mean, it's Hal Rudnick. Oh my god! Oh yeah, he's the defense bot, or he's the justice bot, prosecutor bot, justice bot. Oh my god, he's stuck in the start of it. He's late. It's so funny.
Oh my gosh! Military men come running in, and it's the Wangers and in those onesie suits or whatever. Oh, it's so good. The whole thing is amazing.
If you haven't gone back, you should definitely go back and watch that whole thing. It's just well worth the visual. I mean, it is from a yesteryear moment this Schmodown, but it's so good. I'm so happy you get to put it on, even if it is a little lower than some people would say. If we have when we do eventually a bunch of these shows, we're probably gonna have a top line, and I might be spoiling it now that might be our top line. It is true.
It's tough, man. It's up there. There's a line that I would put slightly ahead of it that we will never find the video for because it's Andrew Guy says it and it's cut from Schmodown history. But
we'll talk about that during that episode, I think. But yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
and again, like I said, at number 9, any of these moments, there's people who probably take some of the honorable mentions. There's probably moments we don't even have on here that people think is their top moments. If it's your top moment, that's fine. Leave it in the comments. Let's flame us in the comments for the terrible job we did and where certain things should be. It's fine.
By the way, guys, if you want to do those Streamlabs in there, streamlabs.com/call-to-action-podcast, you want to let us know what your top moments are. See if we missed any so far that you think should be in there. I mean, obviously, we still got a few to go, so they may come up. But I want to hear what you guys have to think about the moments that you have as well as us. Because you know what? This is an army, this is a community. Even though Billy and I are right, you guys can be almost right as well. So,
all right. So, moving on from the amazing trial of JTE, we have our number 6 moment.
Number 7.
Number 7 moment. Yeah. Here we go.
Of Star Wars. In the realm of Star Wars. What is the name of the ship Holdo commanded in The Last Jedi?
15 seconds, just like round number 1. You got to go deep.
5.
This is the best
recesses of your mind.
intergeek match ever. I don't care what anybody says.
2.
Head to head,
1. Mike.
extra time or overtime.
And Rachel.
Letter.
One letter.
And your winner.
Letter.
One. He. It's fantastic, amazing. It's two people who are both want to beat the other person, but at the same time love and respect each other. Mike, always gracious to defeat.
Mike is, yeah, I gotta tell you, he's so gracious in defeat. You tell the respect and love they have for each other. Rachel finally winning the championship that she's like kind of sought for. You know she deserved it. You needed to see her finish it off, and look at that. Look at how like just elated and how the sigh of relief she got there. She got there.
What a run that Rachel has, where the Shirewolves win the title, the team's titles, and then she goes on and wins the Intergeekdom title to become the second person ever to hold 2 titles at one time. The only other person to do that before her was Sam Levine, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, goes from like some people doubting her completely to she's in Mount Rushmore, bro. Like, it's unbelievable.
And you know what, Buck, you said you're wrong. Buck says that the best IG match was Mara Cushing. That was a good match. I felt kind of tainted because of how ill they both were. I know Mara had the car crash recently. Rachel wasn't feeling good. It was a great match, but I kind of felt tainted by it. I felt it's a hard match to watch again now. Now we know what the situation was. But it was good.
Yeah, and I would just, because this is for the title, Mara and Rachel was in the tournament, and I think it was the tournament final, but this is for the title. The title is on the line. And literally in a league where Geppetto has been a correct answer, Mike was 1 letter off, 1 slight mispronunciation off, and it cost him the title. Amazing. And I mean, I can't say enough about, like, this is Rachel's moment, but I love Mike in this whole moment.
I do too. And in our honorable mentions, we saw the honorable mentions was when Mike actually beat Rachel in the live event and brought Shannon on and the dip, as it were. So both of these moments are not as good without the other one in a way. So I loved both of those together. But this is the one that when Rachel wins, it just edged it out for me for various reasons. But yeah, Kalinowski and Rachel, what a great duo. I hope they get to go against each other again someday. Maybe it's just an exhibition match. Although I kind of hope Rachel will come back too, because I like to see her again.
I miss Rachel Cushing so much. Like,
so much.
Just her knowledge, her temperament, you know, her things, how she did things. It's amazing.
Big throwdown main event. That's what it was. It was the first one, I believe, right? The first throwdown.
It was huge, yeah.
And I got that in between the pay-per-views and the live events, we had this big throwdown. So I loved that moment. So that makes it for me. So
100%. Again, 2-time champion. Anytime somebody becomes a 2-time champion, it's a huge moment. But yeah. All righty, are we ready for number 6? We're gonna move on to our number 6. Here we go.
This means a lot to be the first woman to hold a belt. Like it means hard to win a championship. It really does, because we see it all the time. Like, you know, there should be a women's league. There's no women's league. Yep. There's no women's league. We are the league. We're in the league, and we're the winners right now. And
we earned it. We played so many matches in our singles career and our career together. We said from the beginning we didn't want handouts. We didn't get any handouts. We fucking earned this.
Yeah.
Fucking
earned this. I fucking love it. Oh my gosh.
It was Rachel showing almost anger moment, like the defiance in Rachel's face, the pure emotion. Clark almost unable to get the words out. You could tell how much she was affected by everything that was going on. I can't say enough about it. We talked about the girl. We talked a little bit about when we talked about the girls run the world entrance. Obviously, the reason why this is the better one. This was the big moment where it was like pure female empowerment in the Schmoedown League. I loved it so much. So stupid. That narrative was so stupid that there should be a women's league. What the fuck do you even? What do you even? How do you even justify that?
Yeah, it's especially because like it's not like again like Clark Wolf had gone up for had a title shot before. Rachel Cushing had a title shot before. Like these are people that push like Dan Murrell to the edge. Like, you know, when they came together as a team, everyone expected them to win the titles. Again, there's this because Above the Line like retired. Well, Sam Levine retired. They never got a chance to go up against Above the Line. It's not their fault they didn't go up. They didn't get that chance. They beat everybody who was in front of them. They smashed Team Action at a live event. So,
and I'll tell you one thing, and maybe you could say that he's just saying, you could say he's being nice, but I don't believe it. Sam Levine has come out and said that he thinks the Shire Wolves would have beaten them.
I mean, yeah, and it's you can never tell. You never know.
We don't know. We don't know. But
it's not like Above the Line was unbeatable. They lost to the Patriots. They lost on a Remember the Titans question, which, again, if I can get the question right, you should be able to get the question right.
Yeah, and that's true, too. Rachel left Sam because she had a bad speed round. That's true. That's very true. She was right in there and the whole time through. So, but it was kind of like that moment where, like, it was the best way that they could say, shut the fuck up to people who were having that fucking stupid narrative. Like you could say it so much because you could say people were saying, you know, they had whatever the narrative was. I mean, people were fighting back against that all the time. And like the women were saying, you know, fuck that, stupid. This is the way to do it. They just said, we're gonna come out, we'll win the belts, and then now that's the way of saying we're the league. We don't need a fucking women's league.
Fuck yeah. I mean, that's another thing. Look, and then Rachel losing because she wasn't good at the speed round. What did they do? They went and got the buzzers from Harloff and trained with the buzzers to make sure they were good at speed rounds. And that changes the difference, you know? So it's so amazing. And obviously clears so much respect and so much like passion for the league. Like you can hear it in their voices. Like it's anger, it's heartbreak, it's redemption, it's joy, it's all that rolled into one. It's what makes a great moment. Again, this could be number one. If you have this as your number one, I can't argue. Like it's our number 6. Wow, 6. Yeah.
I know.
Man, this feels low for 6.
It does.
But then we must have 5 really good.
Well, that's only a perfect segue to get number 5. Then.
But yeah, Will McLean, you unsubscribed. I hope you're still in the chat because here we go with number 5.
Yeah, number 5.
C-3PO call R2 as they entered the escape pod in episode 4.
Sam, overweight lob of grease.
Correct. 3-point game. How many Imperial Scout Troopers pursued the Ewoks?
Look at Riley's face. Riley's so happy.
He's around Star Wars
question. Corrected Rogue One.
Ken. Gareth Edwards.
Correct. 1-point game. Who?
Awesome. Knapsack coming back.
Sam.
George Lucas.
Correct. What was Han
Solo's
response?
Unbelievable.
15 seconds left.
We thought he was out.
Sam.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Sam stumbles. We think, oh no, that's
episode 7. Who sets off the explosives in the oscillator in Starkiller Base?
And then Knapsack ties it.
How many times his normal rate did Han offer to pay Jabba if he would
Over.
spare his life?
Sam.
Pick a triple.
And
Unbelievable. Look at the look on his face.
So tired. Right? Can't believe it just happened.
This is like, this is one of those moments. As soon as you see it, it just brings you back to that moment. Like, unbelievable.
Look at that. Look at Harloff. That was the Iron Man match that was never really been done. Nobody really cared about Iron Man match before. It was all about the different things. This was pure knowledge versus knowledge. You had Samuel, where you had Ken Knapsack. This is just unbelievable that this goes down to not only wire. I remember there even being controversy because it wasn't quite laid out right. Like because they started asking that last question, the buzzer goes off. And then they say later on, well, the question had been started, so it's going to end that question. Was going to end the Iron Man, and then it hits. It's like boom.
It's one of those things where like people always want another Iron Man match, and I'm like, no, we've had the best Iron Man match. Like, we don't need any more Iron Man matches. Why would you want? We've had 2 other ones. One was really good. Well, 3 other ones, I think. One was amazing. That's an exhibition match for Jurassic Park, which was equally good. That was on that level. Above the Line smashed the Patriots in an Iron Man match, and Scott Mance honestly like smashed everybody else in the movie release dates match. So it was kind of close, but it wasn't. It was never in doubt. Like, this was in doubt. This was in doubt to the last question. But again, we thought Whitwer gets like a 6-point lead. We're like, it's over. It's done and dusted.
That was it. I mean, I may argue the Bateman Merle thing, but Bateman Mance thing, but that's another time. We'll go to exhibition matches at some point. But you're right, exactly what it was. Whitwer is up. You think it's over. Knapsack makes that comeback, and here it is. Is he going to pull off? Is he going to beat Sam Whitwer, who at that point was already kind of legendary? He hadn't had that many matches, but it was like, this guy just knows his fucking stuff, right?
Well, he had the Ken Knapsack had kind of been the ace of Star Wars, because they have the match with Freddie Prinze Jr. and John Campea. Knapsack's the reason that they win, like against Freddie Prinze and Whitwer. Like they beat Whitwer, and then he beats him in the 5-way to win the Star Wars title. So we thought Knapsack's just better than Whitwer. Then Whitwer plays another 5-way #1 contenders match, which at the time we didn't know how big a deal that was. He beats Alex Damon and Joseph Scrimshaw in that match to get into this match, and then he wins in the Iron Man match.
I would argue with you a little bit in terms of, I know that like the first match, the Force Bros match, I still felt like Whitwer was the best of the 4 during that match. Freddie Prinze was the weak link of that match. I think that's the reason why they ended up losing. And if I remember correctly, wasn't that the Freddie Prinze cheating match? They not cheating, but like it was like he showed his board. It was different. I don't know, some kind of, there was another weird controversy on it. But what I remember was that Whitwer was the one that was the best of the 4. It was the Star Wars Celebration, which I was the first Schmodown match I saw live, was when Knapsack did win that. And Sam Whitwer, I remember when he got out of that match, there was this hush in the crowd. Holy shit. Everybody expected Whitwer to win that match. And he got caught.
Whitwer's winning the whole match, and then it comes down to his 5. All he's got to do is hit his 5, and it's over. And it's the Captain Nita.
He can't pull Nita.
Can't pull it. And then and then it's in the Iron Man match, and he gets it right, of course, because
exactly that's what makes it better. This is the culmination of Whitwer's rise to power, because he does beat Damon. Hitting Damon is only lost in the Schmodown history. Beating Scrimshaw, and so you had to come down to Ken Knapsack versus Sam Whitwer. I expected Whitwer to win this match. I totally expected Whitwer to win this match. Real quick, yes, you're right. I felt bad for Jenny there too. Jenny it was a bad day to have her in there. She just unfortunately wasn't able to
chance. Yeah, there have been a few Star Wars 5-ways where you just kind of feel bad for the 5th person. You're just like,
not only that,
a lot about Star Wars, but not today.
That one guy I felt really bad for when Whitwer had to pull out of Spectacular. I think it was Spectacular. Whitwer was supposed to face Damon. Couldn't do it anymore because of the TV show, and they had to put the substitute in, that Bruce Green, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Bruce Green. I don't know, like 25-3.
Well, this is the thing, and it's. I say it all the time. The Schmodown is not about knowledge, or it's not just about knowledge. It's not enough to know things. You can know everything in the world. It's recall. You got to be able to recall things in split-second moments. And that's the difference between the Alex Damons, the Whitwers, the Ken Knapsacks, and there's a lot of people who know a lot about Star Wars, but they can't, in that moment, recall it. So
right. And AJ Lancaster actually says it right there best. It's kind of like Above the Line, because Above the Line retire the titles. You always wonder if they would still be champions. Whitwer still feels like he would be the one that, like, you almost wonder, because Damon's felt that the entire way through. Damon lost to Whitwer the only time they've ever played, and that's the only loss he's ever had. And granted, it was a 5-way, but it's the only loss he's ever had. But he still kind of faces that. Well, what if Whitwer ever came back? What if Whitwer came back? You know what I mean? So it's still one of those things. I think it always will be, to a degree.
I mean, he to be fair though, he did lose. Like, it's not like Whitwer's undefeated. Like, Whitwer lost to Ken Knapsack, so it's Alex Damon's kind of in that same boat. He
Right.
lost a match in a 5-way. The other thing about this that I kind of forgot about was Ken betrays Rachel like shortly before this match.
Yeah,
so we have
that's right.
he turns to the dark side. So now you have the dark side versus the light side. The light somehow prevails. What a crock of shit. Lucas must have wrote this match.
The funny thing is, Darth Maul on your side, though. It's like two dark sides in a way, but you're right that Sam was definitely kind of like the face of that, only because Knapsack was more of a heel. Because Knapsack was more of a heel, basically. That's what it was.
And Whitmer was supposed to join the Fife Club. Remember?
Yeah.
They were
That
going to be
was.
the big faction to fight the Lion's Den. So
That's right. So it is what it was. But again, great match for Spectacular 2. I love this is one of my favorite matches of all time, and it's one of the reasons I love the Schmoedown so much. So North 5, that's a good place for it. I think North 5 is a good place for it.
this is the match that made me realize that I don't know anything about Star Wars. Like, all I knew about Star Wars, and then I watched this fucking match, and I was like, I don't know a single answer to any of these fucking questions. The Millennium Falcon? That's the ship they fly, right?
What's the dog's name? Chewbacca?
The talking bear. What's his name? All right.
Wow.
On that,
Top
let's move it along.
All right.
Number
man,
four.
Number 4.
Top 4. Here we go.
What we have left? What do we have left?
Question for the win. Who directed The Burbs?
And here's where you know that we're being as unbiased as possible.
3, 2.
Barry loves it.
John Rogan victory. Here it is. What is it?
Number 4.
Cracking of the
For the
voice.
screen.
Cracking of the voice. Where John Roca was the underdog.
Well, nobody thought Merle could lose. Merle was
Right.
the guy. He was a screen junkie. He's never, he knows everything there is to know about every movie.
Right. And Bibiani in there. Bibiani, that's back in the day where they were for such a weird moment in history now.
That was
There he
the
is.
four
Bibiani.
horsemen. The original 4. That's a good Schmoedown trivia question. Is who's the original 4? Yes,
Yeah.
number 4. Well, thank you, Will McLean. We know what we're doing around here.
You know what we're doing. You know what we're doing. Come on, give us some credit, right?
That was completely by accident, but all right, yeah, number 4. All right.
We take credit for what we take credit for. I gotta take credit for it. No, but right then, that's kind of funny. I gotta say, because what it was for me is that that went back in the time when I actually kind of was sort of rooting for Roca a little bit in terms of, because he was the original heel at that point. He was the underdog, so it was kind of like you almost want to see the Russian get cut in a way. And like Merle hadn't really been shown much weaknesses in a way, so it was like almost like who can anybody gonna beat him? I don't know. And Roca wanted it so bad. As much as he wants Damon's ass now, he wanted it so bad. But so when it happened, you're like, yes, that's awesome. I think it's the last time I ever wanted Roca to win. But that's just me.
Fair.
But it was a
I'll say this.
phenomenal moment.
The Schmoedown is not the Schmoedown when Roca's not a heel. All right, it's still kind of the Schmoedown, but it's not the same. When John Roca is the man in black, when he's the bad guy, when he's full heel, he is fantastic, and that's what we love to hate. Like he is. You don't want to like hate nice John Roca, who's kind of like your grandpa or like, a really old uncle. Like, you feel sorry for him. Now the man in black, ready to hate him.
You want to hate him. You want him to go down. You want to beat his ass.
Also, like Merle's like that, like lily white baby face. He's that like,
especially at this point.
Yeah. He's Superman. He's like, the ultimate good guy. Like, truth, justice, and the Merle way. Like, whatever. Like, John Roca's like an anti-hero at best. Like, even when he's a good guy, he's kind of a bad guy. So, like, we root for the bad guys. We like the bad guys.
That's why we're the Action Army. That's where Team Action came from. But it was a great moment in SmackDown history, no doubt. It was the first real. I felt like this was like the real big first championship moment. We talked about before where Riley won the belt during the tournament, but it was still kind of like back in those days. By the time Myrtle got it, it was starting to be a bigger thing. But this felt like the first big heavyweight title match in a way to me.
100%. Yeah. Well, the other thing is like we thought Merle was unbeatable. Like
he did.
And this proved that anybody could win. Like this was the like as much as Roca is like Roca now, he wasn't Roca then. He wasn't like the untouchable Merle beater, world beater that he is now.
Right. Not at all. Not at all. But it was good.
This proved that Dan Merle wasn't a god. Like that was the big thing. Like 100%.
But yeah, I gotta say we're moving into our next number 3, our top 3 moments, and I always feel bad that 2 matches in a row have somewhat similar outcomes to a degree. Let's go on to our number 3.
Disclaimer: don't flame us too hard, Action Army. That this is only number 3, but
yeah, we'll talk about it in a second.
5, 4, 3.
I got one more, right?
2.
Lay it on me.
Tom Hardy plays a disgraced member
This
of the
part of that
Russian
weird
military
math we
police
have.
who investigates a series of child
I
murders.
don't know how it came
during
out
the
number
Stalin-era
3.
Soviet Union.
I don't know how to either.
What
It's funny.
history-
Personally, it's my favorite one. It's my favorite moment in SmackDown history.
We had the big discussion about favorite versus greatest. This is both of our favorite moments in the history of SmackDown.
There we go. Let's just enjoy it for a minute.
Yes. Oh, that's.
Very excited. Andrew got and I think that the crowd is stunned right now. Dan
Jake
Murray,
in
the
the
heavy
chat.
favorite, Andrew
My ass.
wrecking shop here, not only in the studio but also with the league itself. What an upset!
Christian Harloff says it all right there.
That's
His face.
insane.
Did not expect to see that.
Didn't expect it.
Yeah.
The TKO, and it's a big upset. So we're gonna talk to Jen Sturger, who's with both
Make some
Andrew
sense out of this one,
and
Jen.
Dan.
What's up, Lucha
Well,
Tradition Schmodown
wait,
fans? Jen
you're
Sturgeon.
more disappointed now
No, now he's
than
disappointed.
before. Before
All
he
right,
just
all right.
unsubscribed, now he's disappointed in us.
All right. It's my favorite moment in SmackDown history. I'll say that point blank as far as that goes. Why is it not number 1? It's hard to say why it's not number 1. I guess it had to do with the fact that it was a pure moment. But as far as the league went, there was a few more that were just a little bit more, I don't know, not memorable is the right word, but more, I don't know. Maybe you can explain it, Billy, because I can't.
The reason why it's not number 1, the only reason why is because in the no, I can't even say that. Again, we're in top 3 land, people. Like any one of we're not arguing like why something can't be number 1. Any of these could be number 1. It just happened to fall as like the greatest schmodown across the board. This is the greatest moment in the history of the Action Army, 100%.
Hands down, 100%.
In the greatest of the schmodown across the board. I feel like number 3 is right. I feel like number 3, it proved, so Roca beating Merle proved he wasn't a god. Andrew Guy beating him proved he was human. Like this is when Superman bleeds, like completely.
Great build up to the event, which we're still kind of going to get to. Harloff told Dan Merle that his grandma could beat Andrew Guy. This was Merle's comeback match. His first time he'd come back. First time he'd entered the new era where people like Andrew Guy and Ben Bateman were doing their shtick. It wasn't just about, I'm going to know trivia. I'm going to test trivia with you. This is about, I'm going to get inside your head. I'm going to intimidate you. I'm going to fuck you up and then you're going to lose. And that's the way it's going to be. Drew just did everything right. Everything right to win that match. I mean, let's be honest. I love Andrew Guy. I love it. You know, I'm Andrew Guy's biggest fan. My number 1 reason in the Schmodown person in history. If you put Dan Merle and Andrew Guy against each other 100 times, how many times is Dan Merle going to win?
0. We've seen it. How many times
That's the
has he
Action
won?
Army answer.
0.
That's the Action Army answer. That's the Action Army answer. But we
That
know
you
it's
call him Guy Tonight or Guy Kryptonite, Guy Krypton. I don't know how to fucking say. He's Dan Earl's Krypton, bitches. Dan Earl's Kryptonite.
But it was such a perfect storm of events, such a perfect storm of it. Everything went right for Andrew Guy and for the Action Army. And it was such a beautiful thing, though. I mean, amen, guys. It was beautiful.
We talk about the moment, the whole match, because Guy goes behind. He misses a question. He's now losing. Everybody's like, oh, here we go. He calls his shot. He's like, I'm going to get it right. You're going to miss it. We're now tied again. Oh, wait. Andrew Guy takes the lead. And
End
he's
of round one.
right now.
I remember even he's doing it, because Dameron's like, the Flash, and Drew's like,
the Jet?
The Jet? And all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, Andrew Guy's winning at the end of round 1. And Drew starts talking smack. Why else so damn quiet?
Oh, the whole match he's doing it. Then he spins. Dan spins opponent's choice and has the shrug like it doesn't matter. And fucking
he says that. Harloff even says that. If I remember correctly, Harloff goes like, doesn't care. It doesn't matter.
No.
Whatever.
It's not Harloff. It's Ellis.
Ellis says that maybe.
Spins again, and Ellis is like, well, when you don't fear a category, I guess you can't spin it. And it's like, oh no, wait. There is a category that you should fear, and I found it. So here it is. This is knowing your opponent. Which Guy never played Merle. Like,
he did some studying now. He did some studying. Now the best part though about round 2 for me is it was the way it happened. Not only does Dan Merle start missing, not only does Andrew Guy start stealing, but it was the fashion in which he did it, and it got inside Dan's head. I think in a heartbeat, because Dan Merle would answer incorrect on something. Drew doesn't even wait a millisecond. No, actually, the answer is this. No, sorry, it's Christoph Waltz. Nope, that's Bradley Cooper. And it was just almost like arrogantly done. You're like, Dan Merle didn't have a chance to breathe. He didn't have a chance to catch his breath. Next. Boom, 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 boom.
We talked about it a few weeks ago because he does it like Snyder does. Like Jeff Snyder's that's his MO is that when somebody misses a question that he knows the answer to, he answers it immediately. But Snyder always does it to show that he knows the answer.
Yep.
The way that Drew does it is like a fuck you didn't know the answer. Oh, and I know the answer too. Oh, and also it's like there were 2 possibilities, and you picked the wrong one, and I know you picked the wrong one, so fuck you. Like, it
was such an best part of the whole match, and I've said this a million times on it because I've talked about this match a million times because I can't not talk about it. Yeah. It was Christian Harloff's body language throughout the whole entire
his
face. There's at one point, I forget exactly, I think it was during round 2, I want to say the end of round 2, he legitimately gets so uncomfortable. He does like one of these things where he sits back, he's like, because he doesn't know how to hold himself. He's like, I don't know what to do right now. I'm watching my Sam Levine, Dan Merle banner go up in flames. The marquee matchup go up in flames. Burn is he's like the whole time.
Well,
I didn't get the match best part.
So Drew's winning by 7 at the end of round 2, going into round 3. Dan hits his 2-pointer, hits his 3. Now everybody's like, all he's got to do is hit his 5. Freaking Andrew Guy will miss all of his questions. But then he doesn't know it. Oh, my God, he doesn't. He knocks over his cup. He doesn't know it. And then that celebration.
Jumps on a fuck you.
Child 44. I need a Child 44 t-shirt.
I would love that. And by the way, 2 things I'll say real quick. One of the favorite moments on SCN Live after this was like a couple months down when Guy was on it. Somebody put in for an impression, and it was Christian doing like an Arnold Schwarzenegger as Andrew Guy. If you ever have to search that out and find that, it's funny as hell. This whole thing, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna knock shit over, I'm gonna make Ellis mad at me, I'm gonna say fuck you, I'm gonna look at the game, go fuck you. It's so great. We gotta
I remember that.
So
yes.
It's so funny.
All right, guys. So,
but you know what? One more thing I want to bring up. One more thing I want to bring up. If you're a patron of Schmoedown,
one more thing.
Go back and find they used to do behind the scenes videos. Brienne does it behind, like Brienne used to put like videos up of behind the scenes at the pay-per-views or whatever, and they do the behind the scenes. You watch the crowd watching this match. And you got Bibiani in the crowd, Kalinowski's in the crowd. Everybody's like, they're like, what the fuck is going on? And the whole thing is like that. And then it happens. Everybody still has no idea. And he goes around and she sees the Andrew guy, like she pans, and there's the Andrew guy backstage. He's like dancing and stuff. Ben Bateman's not even there because he couldn't be there at the studio.
He was in Vegas. Like, Bateman's in Vegas.
Drew ended up calling Bateman.
Who was the hillbilly guy? What was his name?
Dale the Dude. Like Bateman, like texts Dale the Dude, like, how did it go? And Dale the Dude responds like, your boy won. And Bateman thought he was fucking with him. Like that's what. Oh my god, so good. So
we can talk about. We can have a whole show like the top 11 moments of this match. We might have it. I don't know.
You might. I think that's actually a good thing to do. We'll talk about that later. But yes.
But moving on. We have 2 more moments. So let's get into number 2.
There we go.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1. Okay,
and it's
we
just
got Drew.
4 letters and 1 number, boys and girls.
All right, Roka.
Nothing.
The Spectre?
If you're a Schmodown fan,
Draco.
you know what XX5XX is.
This is the one.
And the Odd Couple, right there, the precursor of the Odd Couple as they get together like that, huh? Chaos.
What a murderous row getting absolutely murdered.
Chaos.
By Mark Andreyko.
Holy
yeah, I love the panel there as they realize it, what just happened, and then Andreyko finally realizes what happens. And
right?
Oh, it doesn't happen if Bibiani doesn't hit the last question. It also doesn't happen if Bibiani doesn't miss West Side Story. Oh my god, so good.
That was the first free-for-all, and I'm a big, you and I are both old-school wrestling fans, and I remember when they talked about this, it was like they're going to do the Royal Rumble. Like, yes, they're doing the Royal Rumble, because that's one of my favorite wrestling events. It's always just a fun event, and anything can happen. There's always something silly that happens in the Royal Rumble, something stupid happens, but they're always memorable. And when you talked about what was going to happen, this is going to be cool. It's going to be cool. You're going to see all these people fight that they don't fight all the time. You get these big names against each other, and you had that murderer's row of John Roca, Dan Murrell, Mark Andreyko, William Bibiani, and Drew McQueen. It's like, holy shit. Those are probably the 5 best players at the time. I mean, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
That who is going to be the one to Blake's first. And you expect, it's almost like, I almost feel bad for the first guy who gets eliminated, who gets knocked out of that lineup. Because it's like, you want to prove yourself amongst the big boys. That's the place to do it. And what happens? Mark Andreyko takes all 4 of them out. Holy shit.
Honestly, if you had if before, like at the beginning of the event, if you told me those 5 guys are sitting at a table, who's the one that's going to get eliminated? I'd probably pick Andreyko.
I do too.
I think it's going to be Andreyko, and he murders them, murks them all. Friggin', and again, it's kind of like the Andrew Guy response of like blah blah blah. Like Merle goes, the Spectre, and then he goes, the Spirit. And it's so good. Oh my god.
The fact that it has to happen that way, that everybody has to get it wrong. 3 people have to get it wrong. Bibiani had to get it right.
Yeah,
got to get it right. It's the perfect storm moment again. And Campia and Harlow's reaction to that.
And Knapsack too. All of them. The whole
pure chaos. And
then, like you said, Snyder running in.
They are going to do one. That's what Krishna said. They're going to do an online free-for-all this year. I believe that's what they did after the horror free-for-all was successful this year. So I can't wait, because that's my favorite event. That's one of the things I was sad about most missing in 2020. I love the free-for-all. So
the free-for-all is fantastic.
I see everybody.
I want to go to a free-for-all. Like, that's the one thing that I haven't gotten to go to yet that I really want to go to is to a free-for-all.
Big live event thing.
But yeah, I mean, the other thing is, like, at the time, because Roca and Merle are like feuding over the title. Bibiani had just kind of debuted and he went perfect, and people were like, "Oh, he's the next, unbeatable guy." McQueen is like McQueenie. He knows everything. Like, it's just
Right?
so good. It's so good. And then there's lovable, smiling, happy, fucking comic book nerd, comic book writer, Mark Andreyko, just destroying these guys and then waving them away. Like, get the fuck off my table. I own this table. And then, like you said, the Odd Couple premonition or like preamble of Schneider coming in and high-fiving him. It's just
never know that things are going to happen. I mean, I love free for alls anyway. We all there's a couple of different free for all moments that I could have had in my top 10 or honorable mentions. Later on in the same event, when Sam Levine does the same thing and kicks everyone to the table, just to come up to the fight, face the final person, and that final person being Tom Dagnino.
What an anticlimactic moment of.
But it was almost so anticlimactic that it became climactic. It was kind of this like funny, like, of course Tom Dagnino's the last person.
But like, Levine comes in and I think he eliminates Andreyko, or maybe Andreyko was in that second wave of the XXX 5X. But it was like when Sam did it, it was like, oh, okay, well, good. We've cleaned house now. Like, this is going to make the free for all over quicker. Right. Like, we don't have to sit through 4 more eliminations. Let's just get to the last person. Who could it be? And it's freaking Tom Dagnino. So I think that question's right.
He did.
That question's right.
And the other one I want to throw out there that we didn't put in our honorable mentions, I do want to make at least notice Brianne Chandler winning her when she ran her her moment, first free for all champion that she was. It's such a great female moment for that as well. It's a great moment for the league. I love Brianne Chandler. I think she's one of the treasures of the league that we miss her terribly in the league. And on that. So, and
people like to kind of like, not like, they kind of like try to lessen Brianne's accomplishment because she came in late. She wins the time. She went like perfect in like 5 rounds and eliminated like heavy hitters and was consistently beating Bibiani in rounds. Like, she was getting 5 and he was getting 4. So like, she crushed that one. Happy belated birthday to Brianne. A couple days ago, we love Brianne. We still love Brianne. The original, the OG 5-star general of the Action Army.
Very true. Very true.
At the time, bringing in general.
Call sign the architect, as we say.
Is that right? Okay.
Well, guess what? We are down to number 1. We are down to number 1.
Here we go. And I think if you're a Schmodown fan, as much as it pains me to do it, as much as it pains us to do it, if you're a Schmodown fan and you're watching this show, you got to know what number 1 is.
And if you're a wrestling fan, that's a wrestling fan as well.
And there's Drew God.
You know what?
What do you got?
I am not finished talking to these people yet. You know what?
Just this promo. That's all it is. It's this moment. That's the moment.
That's how we justify the whole thing. Is Andrew Guy's promo before? Although it is partially, I got to be honest with you. Andrew Guy and Ben Bateman. Andrew Guy and Ben Bateman had just lost their match against the Shire Wolves, and they're pissed about it. They're like hot under the collar.
Yeah,
they're really upset about what they do. Controversially, but yet they're professional. Andrew Guy comes out and rips out one of the best promos in the history of the game.
And you know what else? You know what else I can do other than sell out arenas? That
he ain't lying. Selling it out.
Especially not you.
That's what they should call him, the sellout Andrew Guy. Sells out everywhere he goes.
Oh yeah, that's right. I got the goat himself.
So good. We're just gonna let it run, guys, because this is like his absolute pinnacle of his powers.
Yeah, he's at the height of his power now. Got the king. And then Ben looking like his future teammate.
Right? Is Ben gonna dress up as Merle for one of their matches? Right? I need that. I hope so. In the New Guy Order t-shirt.
The New Guy Order shirt. Yeah, that's what's got to be the New Guy Order shirt.
Oh. Dan, I got a couple questions.
Ben's from Seattle. You know he's got some flannel laying around the house.
Right?
What's your first name? Dan.
Go.
Now, obviously, we know what it is. We're not hiding this from everybody. The horseman reveal is coming. The Horseman reveal doesn't work as well without the action preamble here. It works, but this this build-up helps so much better. And for the Action Army, how we can justify this is Will McLean's correct. What makes this better is what happened in number 3. When
That's right.
After all this goes down, Andrew guy still comes back and beats Dan Murrell.
Because Guy for months had been saying he killed Dan Murrell. And when he comes out at the free-for-all, they say, "Where's Dan?" He says, "It's 6 feet under."
But this is a great wrestling moment now.
Oh, this is the pageantry of the Schmodown, especially in a live event.
Right.
And again, like there's been speculation for so long of who's going to be the horse. We didn't know. We knew that. Roko, we knew that. Okay.
Riley?
What? Like Roka's rival?
Riley and Roka get together like 4 horsemen, all right. And then it's not over yet, though. It's they're gonna turn the fingers and like big 5.
The worst symbol in the history of the Schmodown.
Right. We don't talk about it too much. Just as far as powerful moments go, it does work. The shining music.
Yeah, I love that Christian said he was like up late one night, like just Googling like disturbing music or scariest music. And this is it. This is like the ominous
darkness of it.
I mean, I love the Jaws theme. I almost associate this more with Dan Murrell than the Jaws theme.
Because of this moment right there.
Well, the Jaws theme is Andrew Guys now.
What a live number. What a live number.
Wow. It did well. It didn't end well for any of them, but
it ended like shit.
There was a great moment and great build-up, but it ended like absolute trash.
Murrell loses. Inman loses and basically doesn't really have a match. Retires.
Nose retires.
Nose retires. It was like such a weird thing. Like here's the thing. Here's the thing about it. This is where the Schmodown and wrestling are the same and how they're different. They're the same and you have that kind of cool pageantry moment. You can plan these kind of things to Andrew Guy to free for all. This Horseman coming back, everything else. But the unfortunate reality is that with a non-scripted, with reality, real matches, real competitiveness in the matches, it doesn't write itself. The script doesn't write itself. The script can be written horribly wrong at that point.
Right.
Everything goes to shit. It doesn't take away from this as a moment at the time. But if you look at it after, you're kind of like, oh, well, it didn't end up leading to much now, did it?
Now, I mean, in the long run, who gives a shit about the 5 horsemen?
They're done. They're done. Now they're done. They're 6 feet under. But as far as the moments go at that moment, that was the Schmodown at its best as far as dramatic reveals and everything else, right?
Oh, again, like the pageantry, the build-up, what it meant for the league. Dan Murrell's finally back, who had been one of the most popular people in the league, and he'd been out for almost a year, I think,
right?
Maybe over a year. Right. The reactions to this video is one of those things. Like we talked about, like I've watched the Andrew Guy match more than any other match in the history of the Schmodown.
Yeah,
I've watched this moment more probably than any other moment, just because I watched it itself so many times. I watched all the reactions to it so many times. I've seen people play it on different things all the time. It's so iconic. It meant so much to the league. The thing that kind of gets swallowed up in the whole thing is Riley joining the Horsemen. That was a story unto itself.
Yeah.
And then Earl, and it's like, what the shit?
What's happening there? It was funny. The similar one was in Houston when Bateman joined the Horsemen. That became the new incarnation of the Horsemen. There was another kind of cool moment that they did as well that didn't make our final list. But at the end of the day, it's cool. At the end of the day, I understand why people wouldn't put that as number 1. I just especially why the Action Army wouldn't put it as number 1. But it does have a greatness from Andrew as well. Andrew and Ben making it work. What can you say?
I mean, when you see that cast of characters, those 7 people that are on that stage, that's the Schmodown. Like, there are some other people who are as important, but there's nobody who's more important than those 7 people.
Well, the Horsemen as an entity, I'll agree with you. I think you got to put Roka. The Ed Shire Wolves were just on as well, who had on that stage right before this match. They beat Action. But I add the Shire Wolves to that as well. But you're not wrong. Roka, Merle, Riley, Team Action at that point. It was just a big amount of who the Schmodown was, both trivia-wise and character-wise. That's the thing. It was the best matchup of both parts of the Schmodown.
Well, you have Merle, Riley, and Roka, who had the first kind of like 3-way rivalry for the title that sucked a lot of people into the brought a lot of people to the Schmodown. Then you had Top 10 and Team Action, who had one of the best rivalries ever in the history of the Schmodown. They're on the stage there. Jason Inman, who he wasn't in the Schmodown for long, but he ushers in this new age of the IG. He was also part of Team Trek that feuded with Roka and Top 10. Oh, and Team Action as well. So like, there's nobody there are other people who are equally important, like the Shire Wolves, Sam Levine above the line, but there's nobody that's more important than Patriots. There's nobody that's more important than those 7 people. Again, like Ghost and Inman, maybe a little bit less, but that stage is loaded. And that's why this moment is number 1, because you have so many different people.
Huh? Well, I guess that does it, Billy. That does it.
That's it. That's the first installment of, again, this is going to be a bi-weekly show, guys. I mean, you can't turn it up to 11 all the time, guys. If you turn it up to 11 all the time, you can't go full Belfort all the time, all right?
That's true.
You gotta recharge the batteries.
We're getting a little older. It's harder to go full top 11.
We're not even getting older anymore. We're already there, Paul.
Yeah.
We are just older at this point. But thank you to everybody who's in the chat. Again, flame us in the comments. Tell us where we're wrong. If you want to be right, then tell us we were right, that these are the 11 greatest moments, and this is the order. Hit us up on Twitter. Paul, where can they find you on Twitter? Where can they find you on the internet?
At Paul_Denuzio on Twitter. You can find me on Call to Action now at bi-weekly basis. I turned it up to 11. Also find me with Chilled Action with Danny and Billy and Kelsey as well. We do a lot of interviews. You can find me on PLD Projects, my own YouTube channel occasionally. And finally, recently, you can find me on Action Industries, the home of Ben Bateman and Andrew Guy, where we're doing WandaVision reviews on Fridays. And then all throughout the weekend, we do Action Unfiltered. Saturday's a rotating show, and then the Action Guys on Sunday. So love it. Love you guys joining us on all of those efforts. We love you guys very much in the Army. That's where you can find me. Oh, thanks, Brady.
Yeah, that's staying up on here forever from now on. That's now part of the overlay for the rest of my life.
I enjoy that.
But yeah, you can find me every other week here on Turn It Up to 11, this new amazing show that we're doing. Next 2 weeks from tonight, we're doing the greatest rivalries in the history of the Schmodown, which clearly there might have been one or two that showed up in here. And then you can also find me, Chill to Action every once in a while when I'm on there. I heard that there might be getting a new co-host for Chill. We don't know. I'm a 2-time award-winning journalist, guys. I'm going to do some information. We'll find out. I got some ends with the Chill to Action people. I'll find this information out for you. We'll find out who that new co-host is.
We'll get it out.
Yeah, you can find me at Mr. Billy Belfort on Twitter. Shout out to Jake, who's been doing the overlays and helping us. We couldn't have run this show without him. Doing that killer, David B music. Thank you so much for that awesome intro music, Jake. Thanks for doing all the graphics and all the.
And then Robert Adams as well for doing our number graphics. Actually, there's little number things that was from Robert Adams from the Cinefanatics.
Hell yeah,
Cinefanatics. I love them as well.
Speaking of Robert Adams, anybody who's snowed in or stuck in the snow or with having power issues, man, we're thinking about you. Stay safe. Be safe. Turn it up to 11, but do it safely. But yeah, Paul, what a great show. I'm excited.
I'm excited as well. We'll see you next time, guys. All right? We salute you.